for coming down memory lane again. But before I begin, I want to have a little chat about this. I found this, of course, at the bottom of the pile of all of these goodies. So, this book was one that I found when we were having a meeting of the Needlepoint Guild, and a lot of the ladies were getting rid of some of their books, and I picked this one up because, not for the content, but let me show you. I picked this one up for the paper, and this had a spiral binding on it up until the day before yesterday, at which time I took it to Office Max and said, "Chop, please," and they whacked that off right there, and well worth the $2. So this was the cover of the original booklet, and here is one of my my large flower pictures. I have two books that I used at that in this period in my evolution, and this was one of them, and I picked this one for the cover. And then I worked in various colors here in acrylic around the edge, and as you can see, I used some of my very famous Jo Sonja Gold and some Uniball Signo pen. But here is where I started experimenting with Inktense pencils. I wanted this this beautiful ranunculus to pop up a little bit from the page, and so on this background it was nowhere. It was totally flat. Didn't tickle me. So I used an Inktense pencil, and I went all around the outside of this, and then now Inktense pencils are soluble in water, so I used water, and I didn't like the effect, so I said, well, what if, a famous art word, what if I put a little bit of gesso, tiny bit of gesso, and very little water, and I scrubbed that. I think I used a neutral tint pen to give this shading, and I scrubbed in it and drew it out, and as you can see, I was quite tickled with the way that worked around the edge. So, live and learn. Now, before we go on, I'm going to show you why this book tickled me. Notice that the pages are all printed on one side only. Is that beyond belief or beyond belief? And so the quality of the paper is this glossy, well, I would maybe semi-gloss, but definitely some gloss, and beautiful quality paper. So now that I had the binding chopped off, I have the bits that I worked on in here, and then I have the rest of all of that delicious paper to use for other projects. So the cover, and then on the inside, I decided to do in March 18, I decided to cut some more of the flowers out, practice my cursive handwriting, but this is a collage, this and the stem here, a collage, and this stem, a collage over here. But these leaves are Carol. I wanted to see if I could not make them, as much as I possibly could, work with the Inktense pencils, and I put on many colors of Inktense that I thought might work, and then a little bit of water to move it. Again, I wasn't happy, so a little bit of gesso, Liquitex, the only one I use, Liquitex gesso, a very little bit of gesso, and I did manage to get this this nice mottled strappy leaves that go with this flower. And here, more of the shading. I was learning technique. Then, I'd forgotten about this one. On this pair of papers, well, Carol, there again, you really would do better to turn on all of the lights. Let me show you this again. You see the shading here? I really apologize for that. I'm so sorry. I wish you could shake me through the screen here and tell me, Carol, turn on that light on the right. So here, and now, I did another double spread. This is a collage of cherry blossoms, and I had this in my stash, and I thought, why not? So this little bit, and this is, of course, my collage stash, and this big one came out of the same flower book. And then I used some acrylic to get rid of some of the background here, and I wanted a color that would go with the colors in this collage right here, and on this paper. And I think I got a pretty good match there. Then I used a stencil that I thought would work, and it certainly did, and I used gray. And then I looked at this page, and I have the stencil, and you know my Jo Sonja gold right here over her. And I was able to tell a collage story on a large scale, and challenge myself with mixing paints to match. Mixing acrylics to match these tiny bits here and here. And then next, we have this one in the same month, and a big ranunculus, tiny bit of leaf included on this collage bit. One of my large stencils, some background, nothing special. But this is collage, and this is collage, and this is not collage. So, again, a challenge to see how close I could get to this bit right here. And that is so much fun for me. I just love it. And this is collage. This is Carol trying to match the collage. And I'm afraid now when this binding was in there, this line was closer, but that's not the point of the whole exercise. I just wanted to share the fun that I had connecting these two as much as I could through paint, mixing paint. Love it. I mean, no, love the process of finding the colors and using a dry brush. Another large one, just a little bit of background, a large stencil, trying to play off the colors that are over here. And I added some freehand flowers on that one. And we have the two sides of the another large flower. This is the collage. This is the collage. This was a blank page, white background, and this was my first try, and I decided, well, why don't I try putting one over here? There again, trying very hard to match the fine veining, and this matching that as close as I could. Here and here were the most difficult bit, and that was great fun. And also, let me get closer for you. You can see the veins here in the collage picture. Oh boy, I loved trying that. How Goodness knows they're certainly not close, but they make me happy. And this is just, you know, some pencil to ink pen here to fill in the spaces. And so, oh wow, this one in October 2018. This, of course, is my big flower. This is the rest that was cut off over here, and I decided I was going to plop that over here, which I did. But first, I decided to try my Target metallics. So I just drew some lines and painted the metallic paints in. I used stencils for these leaves. And here again, just something new and different, and I certainly enjoyed the fun on that one. And if I had kept up with this, this was going to be my my next try. But you know what reared its ugly head, and junk journaling. Well, I was just down that rabbit hole, and I've never come out, and I'm happy. But in 2020, I'm going to be coming back up the hole and peeking out and smelling the roses. So, I just wanted to share that with you, to always look. Oh, this was the back of the book. Sorry about that. Oh, yes, this is the back of that. And this was the back cover. This was the back cover. So, look around, especially in antique malls, for booklets that have paper like this in it, and you'll be absolutely the luckiest person on earth if you find that they are silly enough to only print on one side in a book that does not have that much in it that's unique in all the world. So I just had to share that with you. Okay, so this and that paper is heavy. So I found this more from my arting world in 2016. Let's move these over out of the way, and I'll share this with you. This was my first realization that rings might be handy. And this, of course, as you can see, they sell this kind of thing still in Michael's and so forth. And I had one. I treated myself to. I said, now what am I going to do? So I got one of my my original girls, my very, very original girl, and I said, well, she needs to be on the cover because I love her. You always love your first of anything. So, stamping, acrylic, and my girl. On the back, one of my, from 2016, one of my papers in a mixed media journal, and one of my girls. And I was starting to get the idea of making sure that the eyes, I have this thing about the eyes being even and the same size, and I was getting a little closer and closer. And this was just fun, so I plucked that down on the back. And then my first trip here was another girl, and I'm really loving her. And I was very, I did a lot of girls in 2016, and slowly but surely I got off on other paths, and I'm thinking I'm sorry. But here, nice mottled acrylic paint, some layers of stencils. Instead of doing hair, since I only wanted to practice face, and this face is acrylic paint, I used a stencil for hair. Some stencils here, and some of my Carol flowers. More Carol flowers. This time, practicing, oh yes, practicing using, I believe this is, yes it is, Target paints, and seeing if they would work as nicely as Ceramcoat acrylics. Their Glimmer Mist is to die for. Their acrylics, as you saw in the past book with the stripes in various colors, are lovely. This is a little bit more difficult to move around. Same old, same old. Again, this is a little bit of collage, and the rest is just play. And oh my. Another little girl. I miss my girls. I really do. And the more I've been looking at them and talking to you about it, my friends, you can understand. When I look at these, I say, I miss my girls. This is collage, and some Carol doodles. I like her little nose. Her eyes have depth. I like her lips. And she's all acrylic also. Oh, goodness. Another girl. Now I was trying a different face shape here. And, yes. There again. Learning by doing. And some doodling. Oh boy. Trying to find out how many layers I could possibly put on this page using all different colors of acrylic and stencil upon stencil. And then I decided, well, what can I do after I had the background, like Joseph's coat here? I decided, well, why not? Let's put some black stencil flowers on there. It was fun. And napkins. Seeing what I could do with napkins. And these are pieces of paper that I cut out. This was cleanup paper that I cut out for these leaves. And these napkins have been here since August 2016, and they're down with glue stick. And they're still there. Flat as they can be. More play. This is not a favorite. I remember this very clearly. This is not a favorite of mine. No, it isn't. Nonetheless, what was this? Oh, this is a bit of, I can feel the underlying shininess here. This was a bit of collage. This is collage. Here. Just play. And not a favorite. And last one. Starting to do fall 2016. More play. And so I wanted to share this with you, and I didn't realize how much this was focused for the most part on learning girls. Here is another volume of cut bits and a collage. No, I haven't opened this in a long time, so I'm going to have no idea how this is folded. So, front and back covers. And let's see what we have inside. Collage and stenciling, and more collage, and playing. Oh, and this one is obviously watercolor, in which I laid down the blobs of literally blobs of color, and I let the water do what it wanted, and then I doodled to make something out of the blobs. Great fun. And this one, not so terrible. Not so terrible. Liking that one. And what's next? Oh, I was all about doing I was all about this is the collage, and this is the collage, and I was all about, again, trying to make this work with these two pieces, seeing if I could do it. A different sort of color gradation here, and this, of course, is watercolor. And then I had this beautiful lady, and so she was just right for looking up at that sunflower. So I told that story in April 2017. And who doesn't love a nice sunflower? And then, oh yes, and then this one. Well, let's talk about Carol coming out of the box. Piece of collage, collage, collage. Strip across the bottom and up the side. And then stenciling with the background to make it work. The glory, oh, and these are dots of paint, okay? The glory of telling collage stories, and then it's up to you to make the rest of it work. I got the idea of these from here. Okay, yes, this is so much fun, looking back at things that you have forgotten. March. Glimmer mist at the top. You can always see glimmer mist. You see that? And this is me practicing drawing different sorts of flowers. And in a very slapdash way, filling them in with just a smidge of watercolor. And trying to make gradations in the background. And what have we here? What have we here? Oh, I know what we have here. More blobs of color, but before I did that, I had used masking, Frisket, watercolor masking for the stems and leaves. And after the Frisket was dry, on went the color blobs. And doodling. And I love picking out, if you've never tried it, we're going to try this again together. Using the gradations of color within the watercolor after it settles and does what it wants to do, using those to pick out the design in a flower. And that one certainly opened itself for the design. The background I can feel is watercolor. But the very first thing that went down on this paper was the Frisket design, which let me have the negative space at the end. And oh my goodness, this one. Wow. Okay, you know what? My rose book yielded this and that huge leaf and this one and this. Yes. And I had a leaf I used on something else, and I loved it, so I gave myself a little bit of a challenge to see what I could do here, and then I decided to run these pages together, and whether or not they really made it, well, who knows? But it was certainly fun. I have to think about how that happened. I'm looking at this. I think that was watercolor stencil. But first, there was an underlayer of this color. I think that's how that happened. Yes. And this is acrylic paint. Yes, I made those with just using acrylic paint. So, the fun times that can be had folding large pieces of watercolor paper, and they yield this project. Now let's see if we have time to talk about one more, because I don't want to be taking up all of your time as I go down memory lane. I think I'm going to save Mona Vanna to our next visit, because this book has my heart. So, I found this. And I had no memory of it, but it has 15, 16, 17, and 18. And this, of course, is a binder that I got on sale. And let's see, let me go back a little bit. Oh, there's the girl again. I do like my girl, and the reason she's shining so much is I have her covered in acetate. And here she has a little, color on her cheeks. I believe this is the very first one. This is the original girl. And I dated. But then I made pages. This is a very heavy one. I'm wondering if some of these pages came in this. Yes. Okay, these pages, these heavy pages, are the dividers that came in this loose leaf. Collage again. Washi. See, I used to use washi. Lots of doodling, stenciling, washi. A girl. Having lots to learn. You can see the evolution of girlhood here. Washi, collage, just because I loved her. So she's here. Yes, these are just any size papers added. Oh, goodness, I remember this one in June 2015. I was thinking I was loose. And, yes, I guess you could say that. And April 2016. Quick 5 minutes. 5 minutes to plop down this this bit of watercolor, and I attached it with washi. Another pretty girl. Another. What have we here? What have we here? Oops, I think I better get my friend under here. What have I here? Oh, collage and collage and collage and play. Collage and collage, and then, oh, and more collage. Oh, that's the makings of a nice early collage story. And another one. Yes. Bits of collage and a story. Two pieces of collage. I think I'll go faster because I'll be making you crazy before this is over. Okay, whoa, look at me. Yes, and I was so good at that it never came out. It's there for life. Okay. This is another divider from this loose leaf. I had plans to do things. I never got back to it, of course, because I kept evolving, and my evolution cost, oh, yes, embossed paper. Boy, don't I wish I had this again. 5 minute watercolor. Acrylic. This is the piece of collage. So I acrylic right on top and did some acrylic there. Another divider. Well, she looks kind of sulky, doesn't she? Huh? I put girls any place I could in those days. Oh, just one piece of collage. No, I don't hide anything from you folks. I have no words. The lips are pretty. The neck is properly wide. After that, we won't go there. I was quite, oh, this one comes out. I learned something. Quite the collage girl here. So my fingers did touch. Oh, there's the square faces again. Well, this one I really squared. But the neck is proper. Recognize me now? Well, look at all of this doings. And to think that I found this and said, oh, what's this? Oh my, I was discovering tags. Little did I know. Oh, my. Okay, now. Watercolor paper. I have to have this out and do something fun with it. This is glossy. No, I don't have any glossy acrylics painting. That is. Collage. Cutting. I think this is out of a color book. Cutting edges for the first time. It is just, I'm so enjoying this journey of seeing what I used to do. Because you forget, you get so involved in the now of our art that we forget. And I must have had the sense to use a glue stick with this washi, because it certainly stuck there, didn't it? Oh, the tag girl rides again. Okay. Trying to change the shape of the eyes. Eyeballs aren't bad, but and nose not so bad. A little short. I must stop doing that because it makes me see the negative rather than the good parts here. This is a piece of collage that I liked and plain. Okay, I was a busy girl in 2016. And I used washi, and I still have all of this washi, and then I proceeded to forget it. Unbelievable. Well, no, it's believable, you know. Oh, my little girl. My first little girl. She looks a little wild and crazy, but little, my chihuahua. But I have to do more of this. I love little girls. Now, if we just had about 28 hours a day, maybe, wouldn't we be lucky? And here she is again as a closer. Oh, and a lot of, I tucked away a lot of the ATCs that I had gotten at that point. I tried, but it didn't work for me, so, but I saved the ones I received. And here we are. Oh, another piece of cut right for me. So, this book can go back up on the shelf now that I've had a refresher. And if you have enjoyed this memory lane visit today, I'll be back because I think I have one more pile. And I didn't get to my Mona, but she will be the focal the next time we visit and go down memory lane. I do hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. I'll be seeing you very soon. Bye-bye.